What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the DC Multiverse, the Reverse Flash from DC Rebirth, I believe. Yeah, the DC Rebirth Reverse Flash. Now, I don't typically do villains for my Marvel shelf, but I like DC villains better than Marvel villains. Y'all can flame me in the comments for that. Go for it, but I've always been more prone to collect DC villains rather than Marvel ones. Also, Marvel Legends, and to go back and try to collect all the villains that they've already done, it's kind of undoable. You know, I don't have that kind of money, and I don't know if I have that kind of dedication, but I do have the kind of dedication. It's definitely a money thing. I would totally like to have villains and heroes, but, you know, you can't collect everything, and I draw the line at villains. But being so that this line started while I was collecting, you know, it's a little bit easier to keep up with it. So I tend to get the DC villains more than I do with the Marvel ones. But all that aside, looking at this box here, it's super standard DC Multiverse box. You get the Reverse Flash DC Multiverse. On the back, you get that original picture that they showed. I feel like this guy was shown a long time ago, but maybe that's just me. You get to see the figures in the wave. Top, side, bottom, yada, yada, yada. I got mine off of Amazon, but, you know, it'll probably be hitting Targets and Walmart soon, so there's the barcode if you need it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and speedily pop this guy open. So taking Reverse Flash out of the package, I gotta say Zoom's looking pretty good. Now, I was a big fan of the first Flash that they released, the Rebirth Flash. I know a lot of people really didn't like it. I don't really see why. I think it's the best Flash we've ever gotten in 6 or 7 inch form. I can understand. I don't like that the head doesn't move up. That's like the biggest problem I have with this. But first of all, that's fixable. And second of all, I don't, you know, other than the pinless thing, there's nothing really else wrong with it. I'm a big fan of this body mold, and I think it works really cool on a lot of levels. So let's go ahead and take a close look at the head sculpt here. Now, I personally would have liked a head sculpt. Why is this light being weird? I personally would have liked a head sculpt of angry smiling. Like, that's how I picture Zoom or you know, Reverse Flash, whatever you want to call him. Like, that's how I picture him. I picture him like that one picture, I guess, from Flashpoint where he has the cowl in his hand, and he's got that, you know, angry snarl, but with the sinister smile. I like that. That's the picture that I usually think of. But I'm not mad about getting a new head sculpt of an angry Flash. I actually, now that I'm looking at it, is this the head sculpt from the 2-pack? Okay, I think it is. From the Red Death and Flash 2-pack, I think that is that head sculpt. So that makes sense, I guess, why they did that, but that's a little upsetting. I think we also get the reuse of that hand, but I love the color yellow that they chose for him. Nice, bright, cartoon or comic book accurate yellow. The paint of the red is fairly clean along the lines. Gets a little shoddy on this arm, but the head sculpt is painted very nicely for what it is. I mean, like I noticed now, it is just a repaint, but I do like the way that they did the eyes with the red, with the white dot in it. That's pretty sick. We do get a new chest piece. Obviously, it has to be different. It's got to be in reverse, and they had to resculpt the whole thing, or maybe retool the whole thing, because it is plugged in backwards, which I do like that a lot. And then the boots look nice. You know, all the reds and yellows match really well on this guy. There's really nothing much to speak of. The red goes on the back. I like the sculpted rivets in it, like the lines, which look pretty cool. So, you know, pretty standard for what it's supposed to be. It's not, you know, anything crazy. It's not like this is a brand new mold or anything like that. But he does come with all the accessories that you would expect him to come with. So let's go ahead and take a look at those all perked up on him. So I'm gonna demonstrate how to put them on. You get 2 long ones with pegs. Those go on the legs. I'm not really sure if it matters. I typically don't think it does, but you get the holes across the figure. You pop those in there. Then you get these 2 shorter ones. They are going to go in your arms, or I guess your Reverse Flash's arms. Boom, you get those on there. Then you're going to go ahead and make sure that the trapezoid is pointing down, and you're going to plug in this big back piece on there. Now, this can rotate. They all can rotate, but this one also has hinges on there, which is freaking awesome. Like, these are the accessories I want to see. And then you can peg one in the bottom of the foot. But honestly, I don't really like this one. I think the angle is too steep. I think this is if you want to have, like, that leg is supposed to go backwards. And the cool thing is they all rotate, so you can get them all, like, at the same angle. So, like, that wouldn't really make sense. So, pivot it. And now it makes sense, which is really cool. So I think this is a great idea. It was a great idea on the regular Flash, like the Barry Allen Flash, and it's a great idea on Reverse Flash. And I'm happy to see that they didn't skimp out on the accessories for this guy, because he deserves it just as much as the Flash does. I mean, he's probably one of the greatest comic book villains of all time. At least arguably. I mean, he's in one of the best storylines of all time, or at least most iconic. I know some people don't like it, but it is iconic nonetheless. So getting all these on there is pretty cool. And then obviously you get the stand, which it's one of the rare cases where I think it works for him, because, you know, he kind of needs it, you know, for running poses. There's also a peg in this thing there. So, but other than that, I mean, the card, you don't really get much. So let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation, because it is rather very good. Taking a look at the articulation here. Whoops, whacking my camera as always. The head doesn't look up, which I'll admit I don't like that. I wish it did look up more for good running poses, but it'll look down, it'll pivot side to side and rotate 360, which is really, really cool. Otherwise, I mean, shoulders up, down. They do have a good butterfly joint. I'll admit that they did a really good job on that. You get a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and the wrist swivel and hinge, and they're not big and ugly. Like, if you're going to do a ball hinge, do it like that. Like, that's perfect. That looks so good. The diaphragm joint's going to rotate, pivot side to side, crunch forward and back. And then the bottom one's going to crunch forward, arc back, pivot side to side, and rotate. This is a great diaphragm joint. I actually think it works better on Reverse Flash than it does for Barry Allen. The hips are going to do full splits. They'll go down. He'll kick forward pretty far. I mean, that's really far. He does have a little bit of rotation. Not enough, in my opinion, but it is there. Double jointed knees. And then the ankles go down, up. You can rotate them, pivot, and a toe joint. So, very, very good. I mean, other than not looking up, the articulation is kind of perfect. I mean, I know some people are complaining, oh, he doesn't crunch down enough. I think you rotate it, and yeah, he does. Like, that is totally fine in my opinion. You just got to know how to work the posing a little bit, you know? So, you know, that's just my opinion. I think he works fine, but, you know, I know some people are always going to complain. But let's go ahead and take a look at the comparison we're all waiting for. The Flash comparison. Now, obvious, I have a different hand on here, so don't ask about that, but obviously they're the same body mold. There's nothing different in terms of sculpt, but in terms of aesthetic and overall paint job, obviously they are opposite of one another. Wow, Reverse Flash is the reverse of Flash. Who fucking knew? But I love it. It works. I like that their colors match each other. Like, his yellow matches his red and his red matches his red. I love it. It looks so cool. I don't have all the effect parts on my Barry Allen right now, just because I have them up on a high shelf and I don't want to, you know, take up more space than needed for him. But yeah, no, these look great together. And I took some awesome, I had a lot of fun taking pictures of these guys. Sometimes I never know what to take pictures of when I'm posing around my figures, but these guys, it was so easy and I had a lot of fun doing it. So go check those out on Instagram if you haven't already. Now it's that point in the video where I know you guys are asking yourself, yo, Ant, what are you thinking of this figure? And I think for what it's supposed to be, it is damn near perfect. I mean, it's not like anything special, so to speak. I mean, there's only one new sculpted part on the entire thing, but this is how you handle repaints, in my opinion. The second I got that Flash in my hand, I said, okay, we need a Reverse Flash version of this. So I'm not complaining that it's here at all. Like, this is how you do repaints, at least in my opinion. The accessories are great. The character selection is awesome. You get a whole new character with the same exact mold. It works great. So, other than the head and the non-pinless joints, which I don't think McFarlane is ever going to do. Honestly, I don't think he's going to do that. I'm going to give this figure a 9 out of 10. I really, really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun taking pictures of him and Barry together. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So let me know what you think. If you haven't already, do yourself the favor and me and like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's always greatly appreciated when you do that. In barely 6 months and a little bit just over it, we've done almost 500 subscribers, and that is I'm so grateful for that. Thank you guys so much. Usually it takes people like a year plus to even get that. So at least in this realm of YouTube. So thank you guys so much. It is greatly appreciated. And I thank every single one of you. But, you know, if you haven't subscribed, just consider it. I'm going to be doing a live stream at 500 just to see how that goes. But that's all I got. So, as always, let me know. You cop him? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.